Hello, everybody. Candlelighting time this evening is 4:11. When we talk about creation, the Torah tells us that there are basically four elements in creation. That means that every single matter of creation has four elements in them. What are the four elements that make up the material, mundane world? That is Eish, Ruach, Mayim, and Ofar, which is fire, air, water, and dust or soil. Now, these four elements, they actually represent the four holiest cities in the land of Israel. What are the four holiest cities? Jerusalem and Tzfas and Tveria and Hebron. Now, fire represents Jerusalem because Jerusalem was the place where the Holy Temple was built, and the main service in the Holy Temple was the offering of sacrifices, which was done on the altar through the fire and the wood that was burning on the altar. Ruach, which is air, represents Tzfas. Tzfas was known as a city of great Kabbalists, where they delved into the esoteric teachings of the Torah. And Ruach, besides meaning air, also means spirit, something spiritual, like a soul is also called Ruach. And these great giants of Kabbalah were delving into the spiritual aspect of Torah. Mayim, water, that's represented by Tveria, because of Lake Kinneret in the city of Tveria. And Ofar, the dust, is represented by Hebron, because that is where the patriarchs and Adam and Eve, the patriarchs and the matriarchs and Adam and Eve are buried in the city of Hebron. And everything in Torah always has multiple meanings and deeper meanings. And we know that these four elements also represent the four great tzaddikim, the four great righteous men that are buried in the cave of Machpelah. And the concept of righteous people, the Torah tells us that they represent the structure of the world. Tzaddik Yesed Elam. A righteous person is the foundation of the world because a righteous person serves God through Torah mitzvahs, and that keeps the world going. So, who are the four righteous tzaddikim, the righteous men that keep the world going? And that is Adam and Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Adam is represented by Ofar, by dust, because the Torah says when God created Adam, he created him Ofar min ha'adama, from the dust of the earth. Water represents Abraham, because water gives life and water is refreshing. And Abraham was known for his acts of kindness that would bring life to people by feeding them and sustaining them and helping them out in whatever they needed. Fire is represented by Yitzchak, because Yitzchak, as we know, we read in the last week's Torah portion, that Abraham offered his son Isaac as an offering according to God's command. It was only a test, but the fact that he put Isaac on the altar and was ready to sacrifice him, we know that the altar, as we said before, representing Jerusalem with the sacrifices, represents Isaac. And Yaakov is represented by Ruach. As we said, Ruach also means, besides air, it also means spirit. And that refers to the soul of Yaakov. You see, of all the patriarchs, Yaakov was the main one. That's why we are called Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel. Israel was another name that Yaakov received from the Almighty. And we're not known as the children of Abraham, even though we are known as the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but specifically, Jacob is the father of the Jewish people, because Abraham was the father of Isaac, but also the father of Yishmael, who was the father of the Arabs. And Yitzchak, who had the son Jacob, but he also had the son Esav, who was the father of the nations of the world. But Jacob, Yaakov, he was the father of the 12 tribes that make up the Jewish people. And therefore, every single Jew has a spark of the soul of Yaakov, the Ruach of Yaakov. And so we learn from here a very important lesson, that every mitzvah we do, every word of Torah we study, strengthens the world and brings the world closer and closer to the coming of Mashiach. And let us hope that will be very, very soon. Have a very enjoyable and meaningful Shabbos.